Welcome to the knockout zone where boxing is the language that we speak.
The knockout zone.
So today I want to talk about one careless mistake that some boxers have made that cost them the fight. In boxing, your mind has got to be in the ring from start to finish. So whenever the bell rings, as a fighter, you need to forget about what goes on around you and everything that has been in your mind. You need to put it aside and just focus on the fight. Because if you lose concentration, you can lose the fight that you were not necessarily going to lose. I am going to give you examples of fighters who lost fights that they were not supposed to lose. And sometimes it's even fighters who came as huge favorites and they got defeated by the underdog. First, I'm going to take Pacquiao against Marquez. Manny Pacquiao had the fight going his way and he had the rhythm and range for the fight. But I think when the crowd started chanting his name and he was attacking, that is when he lost his concentration and he came forward attacking with his open face. And it was right at that point that Marquez hit him right on the face and he knocked him out cold. So I believe that Manny Pacquiao was distracted by the crowd and he lost the fight against Manuel Marquez that he wasn't supposed to lose, and he lost it so bad. Lennox Lewis went down to South Africa to fight against Rahman, and he came down there as a favorite because he was the heavyweight champion, and naturally, he's an excellent fighter. So people expected him to display his skills and win the fight easily. But nonetheless, Lennox Lewis made a mistake of overlooking Rahman. And while Rahman was attacking him, Lennox Lewis went back slowly without defending himself like he's supposed to. And Rahman took the advantage of that opening and he landed a boom on his face and Lewis went down. Nobody could believe that, and he was counted. And when he got up, you could see that his legs were gone. And then he lost the fight just through one careless mistake that he made. So he retreated without defending himself. So that is how he lost the fight. And back in history as well, Big John Tate, he had fought for 14 rounds against Mike Weaver, and he was the heavyweight champion. And it was noticed that throughout the 14 rounds, John Tate was winning the fight clearly. But one mistake that he made was, instead of running away during the 15th round because he already had the fight in his pocket, John Tate decided to stay one place. And he was standing in front of a dangerous puncher, that is Mike Weaver. And Mike Weaver was able to land one left hook that dropped him down and he was unable to beat the count. So sometimes one mistake will cost you the fight in boxing. So you need to stay focused and you need to stay on your plan throughout the fight. Because like they always say, it's not over until the last bell rings. Likewise, Zep Judah lost the fight against Costier, fight that he wasn't really supposed to lose. But I believe that Zep Judah, it took some time for him to process that he was already in the middle of the fight. Therefore, he had to defend himself constantly. So he was still getting into the groove of the fight, meanwhile forgetting to defend himself. And then he was caught by a punch and he went down. And upon trying to get up, his knees wobbled and the referee stopped the fight. And Judah got so frustrated because he hadn't expected to see the fight end that quick. So I am saying, in the ring, your mind has got to be there from the first bell to the last. Because if you lose concentration, remember the other fighter is watching you. So he knows when your mind is not there and he will jump on you and he will hit you and he will knock you out. Francois Botha came to America to fight against Mike Tyson, and Botha, coming from South Africa, he knew how dangerous Mike Tyson is. But it came to a point where he felt like he was winning the fight and he got himself accustomed to thinking that I am winning. And he forgot that he was standing in front of a dangerous puncher, and he was standing against someone who had knocked so many opponents. So he started playing around and taking Mike Tyson for granted, and all of a sudden Mike Tyson landed a boom and Francois Botha went down, and upon trying to get up, he went back, fell on his back on the ring, and the referee counted him out. Therefore, I believe that Francois Botha made a big mistake of thinking that he was winning the fight before he won it. So if he had not lost concentration, I believe he would have fought better, even though fighting against Mike Tyson is something that is always unpredictable because he can land a punch at any time and he can knock you out. But Francois Botha made a big mistake of trying to showboat around Mike Tyson and trying to listen to the crowds chanting his name, and he didn't even see the punch coming and he was down. Benavides did the same thing against Terence Crawford. He was showboating and he felt like him being a tall fighter, he was able to out-jab and outmaneuver Terence Crawford, and he somehow made a careless mistake of trying to mix punches with Crawford. And that is a dangerous move, considering that he was standing in front of a best pound for pound boxer. So before he knew it, he was down on the ground because Terence Crawford landed a big punch that knocked him out. And when he tried to get up, he was still in trouble because Terence Crawford is a good finisher. So I believe that Benavides made a huge mistake of not concentrating on the fight enough, whereas he was standing in front of a dangerous pound for pound fighter. Nasim Hamed did the same thing against Antonio Barrera. You know, he had this style where he would do anything. He was showboating and he got away with it so many times, but it came to a point where he was fighting someone who was quick and who was a good counterpuncher. Therefore, anything that he did, it just didn't work out against Barrera. So Nasim Hamed, instead of concentrating on the fighter that was in front of him and change his style and stop showboating, he continued doing what he knows best, and that didn't work out well for him because at the end of the day, he was outclassed and outpointed by Antonio Barrera. So it's important in the ring to stay focused. Maidana was also able to defeat Broner because I believe that Broner was a heavy puncher, but the thing is he played around so much in the ring, and I think he overlooked Maidana and he didn't see him as someone that could knock him out. So meanwhile he was playing in the ring, the other guy was focusing and he was able to catch him and stop him. Now let us look at Tommy the Hitman Hands against Adrien. Tommy Hands was well focused in the fight. He wasn't playing around, but the only mistake that he did was to come out of the clinch without defending himself. So whenever you are infighting, you should be careful how you come out of the infight, because at all times you need to defend yourself. So I believe that Thomas Hands made that one mistake of coming out without defending himself, and he was caught by a punch that knocked him out. So it's important in the ring to have your mind focused on your opponent and also to stick to your strategy and to be careful that you utilize it effectively and to protect yourself at all times. Tommy Morrison did the same thing against Michael Bent. He started attacking and he was a good puncher himself. And remember, the people believed that Michael Bent wouldn't be able to handle Tommy Morrison's punches. And indeed, Tommy Morrison just came forward, landed his big punch, which sent Michael Bent to the ropes, and he came forward to finish him. But upon doing that, he made a mistake of leaving himself open. And then Michael Bent was able to counter with a big left hook and he knocked him out. And he was unable to recover from that punch. So he kept going down until the referee stopped the fight, right in the beginning of the fight, in the first round. And that was a huge upset. So what I'm saying here is one careless mistake can cost you a fight in boxing. Therefore, you need to stay focused and to protect yourself at all times.